there some good place I should sign in? My name is Erin Hennessy, and I'm one of your state representatives, and I just want to give you an update on what's going on financially at the State House this week. There's two things we're voting on that affect the schools, and one is the budget, and the other is SB 191, which is the full funding of kindergarten. SB 191 should pass. I'm hopeful that it will. And what it does is currently, as I'm sure you know, kindergarten is only funded a half day. And it brings the funding up to an additional $1,100 per pupil starting in fiscal year 2019, which is July 1st, 2018. And that funding could go up to an additional up to $1,600 depending on what the Keno revenues are for fiscal year 2020. And that would be at full adequacy funding of a normal pupil first through sixth grade. The other thing that we're voting on is the budget, and if it's passed on Thursday, there's two things. One is the $5 million Governor Scholarship Program, which includes in fiscal year 18, $850,000 for dual and concurrent enrollment, which is up to $250 per STEM-related course taken at a community college for a high school student. So any students that take college classes that are STEM-related in Littleton can get, the school board can get, I believe it's a school board, I'm not sure how the payments go, can get reimbursed $250. The other is a robotics education development program, and there's $375,000 in this for the state, which statewide is not much, but it's for any school that wishes to establish a robotics program and participate in competitive events. So if Littleton wants to develop that program, there is some state funding for it.
How close is that budget to being passed?
I don't know. I'm hopeful that it passes.
You said Thursday? Yeah.
Yes.
All good.
Thanks, Erin.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Just, I'm not sure if it's on the agenda or not, but just here to see if there's been any movement forward with my proposal for the dedication.
No, that's it.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, Donnie, you're on the agenda.
All right, go ahead.
Why don't you come up, Al will announce again formally. So there's an organization that has to do with recycling and keeping New Hampshire beautiful, those type of things. And it came across our desk an opportunity to nominate someone. So we chose the opportunity to nominate Mr. Solskjaer, who has been actively involved in recycling for many, many years. Originally, he worked with Tony Alacqua at the transfer station. So we have quite a robust recycling organization, especially also at Lakeway, where they have a small club, and so they're very active at Lakeway as well. So Donnie went down a couple of weeks ago, May 23rd actually, and he was presented with this award, a statewide award. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention that Donnie's been doing some great work for a number of years. So this was presented to him from them.
Cool.
Good
Good job.
How long you've been recycling? It's been quite a while.
These 30 years now. Broke down a lot of furniture and separated a lot of bottles and cans, etc. Cardboard, plastic, all that. The bottles have kind of gone away. And the aluminum cans are gone, which we used to sell to Stevens and everything and put into the scholarship fund. but that doesn't stop us from recycling. It's,
That's a motherboard.
and being down here, we're seeing what other states are doing.
There you go.
This was for the northeast, Maine, Vermont, Mass, everybody was there. It was quite impressive what they're doing. You see what they're doing with their computers.
Yeah, yeah. It used to be a little awkward to recycle, now it's second nature, so that's progress and a good report. But now people just don't even think about it, they recycle.
We started out with just a few green bands and Tony Lockwood gave it on the trailer. We started bringing up all our private boards and everything else. Well, it's really expanded and what the kids have really helped. That's where we're at.
Great.
Good job, great job, Don.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes of June 5th. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Any errors, omissions, or corrections?
I saw just a grammatical one there.
Donnie.
Donnie,
Donnie.
Excuse me?
we have something for you before you leave.
Oh, I wasn't saying.
I just had a grammatical one in on the number 2, the first sentence needs the comma after he went to, comma, with, that's that's all I saw.
Okay. Anything else?
Millie, we didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
Under section 2 in public input, okay,
The first sentence, you
the
need a
first
comma.
sentence, a comma after, in between to and with. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And the next approval of minutes is June 12th, the work session.
So moved.
We hear a second.
Second.
Any errors, corrections, or omissions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Manifesto going around. Evening. Treasurer's report.
The treasurer has reviewed the report for the month and the year-to-date, and May 31st. Although the copy of your report will show that we ended with a cash balance of almost $1,800,000. Given some of the activity in June with the retirements and sick day payouts for folks who are leaving, some of the heavy maintenance costs, if I didn't mention out loud, I certainly began this month a little anxious about where our cash might be. That became even more troublesome when I got a phone call from Karen Noyes earlier in the month suggesting that she didn't know when tax revenues were going to start to come in and wanting to know if we could delay our payment as we have in the past. I'm very happy to say that last Thursday she called me and said the checks would be available Friday. So the receipts did start to come in, so the town is back in better shape. They did not have to borrow any monies, and the payment was, everything's wonderful, and I see much better now. But I did want you to know that Karen is still working on it, and she did a good job for us.
Good.
All was well.
Any further questions of Tom?
What is the National Forest Reserve?
That's a payment in lieu of taxes because of the geographic outline of the forest.
Okay,
It touches Littleton,
oh, okay.
so we pick up a little bit of instead of property taxes because it's
Oh,
a federal component. other communities pick up a little bit more because they have more of it within their own funds.
And we've had that for a number of years.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Well, it's only once a year and it's not a big amount. so.
Update.
Um,
Anne's passing around a document. Tom and I worked on this today.
What is it?
Yeah, I'll walk you through it, but I think it's, you know, we're nearing the end. And as Tom ran the report today, we show about $402,000 potential of unexpected funds, unexpended funds, not unexpected, unexpended funds by the end of the fiscal year. Again, that's subject to bills that may be out there, adjustments to certain utility bills, other costs out there that we haven't accounted for, but we're getting pretty close. We should be fairly close there. So about $402,000, then there's $60,000 that goes to a food service provider. That's not a bill or encumbered. So that lowers the remaining funds to about $342,000. Now, if you look, those next three lines, the high school roof, gym roof, the gym AC, and the unit ventilators are all charged to the general fund at this time. So if you take those funds, or those three items, move them out of the general fund, take them instead from the capital funds that we discussed doing and what we recommend doing, then that again changes that ending balance fairly significant. We moved from 392 up to 474 at that point by doing those three transfers. And here in just a moment, Dale is going to talk to you about the tech upgrade, which we've talked about for a while now as being a fairly urgent need. So that will reduce a bit the remaining unexpended funds, and then of course we have to transfer the $80,000 from unexpended funds to satisfy the warrant articles that were recently passed. So when the dust all settles around 367, more or less unexpended fund balance as we close out the year. I just did this today. I told Tom you need to get a sense of where we are, and at least with these particular funds. Particularly as we start asking you to spend a little more money again tonight on specifically the technology upgrades. So what I did at the bottom of the sheet, then I went in and gave you a look at what our fund balances are, how they will change if we charge off those capital expenditures, the three capital expenditures above. So if you look across there at the bottom, SPED, we don't really doing anything with that. It's just sitting there, which is good. We need to keep a really strong balance there. Look at the facilities right now, about $137,395. We pay for the roof and the AC out of that fund instead of the general fund. That's $87,000, which reduces the balance to $50,000. We bring $50,395. We bring $50,000 from unexpended funds back into the facilities fund. Again, per the warrant article, leaves us with about $100,000 in that fund. And then you see equipment, the same process, 102,941. Unit ventilators we charge off to equipment, and it leaves us a balance of $57,444. We replace with the 30 that we're authorized to do so, leaves us with an ending balance of $87,441. And again, that 30 and 50 is accounted for in the general fund expenditures above and the projected unexpended fund balance. So, unexpended, the fund balances are still pretty healthy. Going into next year, not quite as strong as we started with, but close. We have done what we said we would do, which would be to use those funds to make repairs. And we're not done. I know we always go in the summer. There's some things we still have to talk about. I think there's some aesthetic work we probably need to do at the high school in particular. With the stone, we talked about that a bit. we all know there's some other things we want to do in the future. And, of course, we are going to have an expense to deal with it likely regarding the super. So that's hopefully gives you a good sense of where we are with the general fund, where we are with the capital funds as of now, and where we are likely to be as we close out the year.
So we would charge the AC to maintenance as opposed to equipment?
Could go either, depends on the balance that you want, yeah.
Do
Could
you
go
see on
either
the
way.
roof you're talking?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was coming out of general fund.
As of now, it is, it's sitting in the general fund, but we'll probably move that out, as that needs to be authorized by the board, though, of course, to do that.
We talked about taking some of this money out of the capital reserve funds.
Yeah.
We moved that into the general fund.
It's
So I get 132,000 for those three.
But what I was saying is the AC at the high school gym, they're proposing to take it out of the facilities maintenance as opposed to the equipment.
Yeah, it could go either way, whichever you go. Yeah.
It is 100. Okay.
But we're going to need a motion on that one. Support. Why not?
Let's do that.
I'll make a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation to move the funds for the roof, AC, and new ventilators out of the general fund into the capital reserve funds to pay for, or out of the capital reserve funds back into the general fund
Yeah.
to pay for these upgrades and repairs.
It's actually from the general fund, you're right.
Requires the general fund from capital reserve funds.
Yes.
So that's a total of,
Just the AC?
AC and unit ventilators.
the AC and the unit ventilator is 37,455.
And the roof?
If it's all three, it's 132, but you're saying just the two.
Well, I think the two are coming out of the facilities, right? Why you think it's-
132.
Or excuse me, out of equipment, so that's a separate motion.
Okay.
So how much is that out of the equipment capital reserve? Is that what we're doing?
That's 82,000. 82,500. For the AC and the unit ventilators, it'll be 82,500.
So Jim has made a motion to take 82,500 out of the capital reserve fund for equipment to pay for the unit ventilators at Lakeway and the AC at NHS.
Okay. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 5-0. Now we need a motion to move $50,000 for the gym roof out of the facilities capital reserve fund. If that's your pleasure. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. That it?
Thank you.
Let's see. So then the next thing is the LU.
Should be, you got the paper copy.
We have a memorandum of agreement between the Littleton School Board and the Littleton Teachers Association to amend and replace Article 8D of the 2016-18 collective bargaining agreement with the following language. 1, employees shall be paid in either 22 biweekly installments or 26 biweekly installments with payment for installments 23 to 26 issued in June, or 26 biweekly installments with payments for installments 23 through 26 issued during the summer, whichever is selected by the employee. Number 2, for an employee who is paid in 26 biweekly installments, with payments for installments 23 through 26 issued during the summer, the amount of installments 23 through 26 shall be based upon the salary schedule and the employee's step and track placement on the salary schedule and the employee's longevity tier, if any, during the preceding school year when the employee earned the compensation. Notwithstanding the start of a new contract year on July 1st, the gross amount of each installment after July 1st will not change from the gross amount of each installment before July 1st. And 3, the first paycheck of the work year shall be no later than the second Friday of the work year. Number 2, this memorandum of agreement shall take effect beginning with the 2017-18 contract year. Consequently, the first summer that employees will have the option of payments for installments 23 through 26 being issued during the summer will be the summer of 2018. Number 3, all portions of the board's and the association's 2016-18 collective bargaining agreement, except for Article 8D, remains unchanged by this amendment. And 4, this memorandum of agreement shall be appended to the board's and the association's 2016-18 collective bargaining agreement. The LTA president, Mr. Bodine, signed this agreement today. So if everybody else is in agreement, I will sign it tonight. What's that?
Are you in agreement? You did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll leave a motion.
So,
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the change in the memorandum of agreement as presented by the board chair and signed by the LTA president.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0.
Just abstaining.
1 abstention. Okay. All right. Sign it. The next thing is the Adidas Under Armour proposal.
We just got back from Mike Elwell, suggested changes in that as requested, so we're not ready to bring that to that. So Ray will continue to work on that.
Technology upgrade.
So, as we discussed at the last board meeting, we had 4 individual quotes to upgrade the wireless access points. Since the last meeting, we were notified by one of the vendors, RTM, which you guys have, that they're running a special, buy 10, get 1 free. So if we were to agree with that, we wouldn't need necessarily 60. It would be more in the lines of probably 50-ish, 52 maybe at the most. We did not receive a quote back from them in time today to tell you what that exact figure is, but if they kept the same price that they originally gave us and we lowered our quantity, that would be the lowest bid, as opposed to the one I originally recommended to you at the last meeting.
What's the deal again?
Buy 10, get the 11th one free, so basically, spend $4,000, get $500 free. So it's a bargain.
Any issues with RTM as a vendor?
I don't believe we've used them at all this year, so I can't speak to that. But Matt has seemed to have a good working relationship with them for years past.
And we're doing the installations anyway, so it's not a
Correct.
matter of...
Correct.
So, if we agree with that, then you're going to need a motion up to 27,000, is that what we're saying?
The original cost was $26,854.20.
Every time we talk to you, it goes down, I like it.
Yeah.
That was and it would not exceed that amount because if the other vendor changes pricing or whatever, we know that that one's locked in still.
Okay.
That's IT savvy.
So it's gonna be,
26, what is it again, Dale?
$26,854.20,
Not to exceed.
not to exceed that amount.
It sounds like we'll do substantially better than that.
do you need a motion? That's what you want, folks.
I would make the motion if it was clear as to how to make the motion. I don't, that we extend not to exceed $26,854.20 to, enter something,
With attempt upgrades.
upgrades, it's upgrades.
Sure.
Okay, that's my motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. We have ventilators on our.
Well, originally, you only formally approved the purchase of two, and then I got the news that we needed to move forward on all four, so I emailed you, didn't hear back. You all, I think, probably by the transfer we did tonight, authorized to purchase the additional two, but if you want to,
We probably should make a motion.
yeah, you want to make a motion to just acknowledge that we did that. It's 21,500 is the additional cost.
Per unit.
Yeah, for two more. And with any luck, we'll have them in and everything will be good before we need them.
I'll make a motion that we accept superintendent's recommendation to purchase two additional unit ventilators at Lakeway for additional cost of $21,500 both units.
Do we have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next thing on the agenda is the principal reports. Kelly's not here.
No, they submitted the written reports,
Okay.
given the likely length of the meeting tonight, I excused.
Okay.
There's not a lot there for them to report, frankly, on what's in the written report, enrollments and so on.
So we still have, anyway, for Kelly's report, we still have a couple of local positions. Yeah.
Yes, we did.
There is, when you get down to Lakeway, we do need to, there is an action we need to take based on that, but that's.
Any questions on the Barnes and Littleton High School, the BJ Gallen? I don't have a tech report, but it's in here someplace.
If I could just mention,
I have
it's
it
good to
right here.
hear positive news. Our other district enrollment, we always, a huge goal for us is 100 students, because certainly around the schools are losing enrollment as well. This year we did begin the school year slightly over 103. Right now, enrollment for next year, things changed over the summer, so this isn't a solid number, but we have 114 students.
Wow.
So that's good. And I just want to mention that we did have our completer ceremony. If you're wondering what those silver cords were at graduation, and you would have saw them in that profile, was there in regional. Those represent students who've completed 2 years in the program. And this year and it was the most ever, we had 68 completers, so that's good news. That's about it. Some open positions, but.
Okay, that's good. Lakeway's report, I think I've noticed, that's what you're talking about, is that we received, what is it?
Under technology.
We received a $2,000 donation from Burndy for STEM equipment for next year. Thank you very much, Bernie. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
If you remember the Project Lead the Way training that teachers were involved in launch, that's equipment that will accompany that program launch, so very good. Very thankful to Bernie.
There was a nice picture about, yeah, oh, yes,
In addition to your thanks, since these are unanticipated funds, so you should accept the gift and then appropriate it for use as intended in next year.
I'd like a motion that we accept gladly the donation from Burndy for the STEM equipment for next year and appropriate it as presented.
So,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Will Lakeway take care of the official thank you for that, or?
They will send something to this office. We've done that already. A couple of times.
Great. Next item on the agenda then is personnel report.
We had a meeting, Kim and I and the superintendent, on June 19th, and we have been reviewing the MOUs, the custodians, and we'll talk about it more in this session.
Okay. Facilities report.
nothing new. We haven't met since the last time we recorded, so nothing new.
Alright. So the next item on the agenda is several policies for the second reading. Policy GBCD, GBCDR is the procedure. The GEB, which is the interview policy for staff. IJOC is volunteers. IJOCR is volunteer procedures. JLCF is the district wellness policy. And JLCD, I think that's supposed to be that. Anyway, R2 is supposed to be the Lakeway Littleton High School Daisy Bronson wellness policy for a second reading. And we also have policy GBEF, which is the school district internet access for staff. And one for computer technology executive use guidelines for students.
There's two of them again. You're on your side left.
Okay.
Two appendices that we discussed.
Those are the hard copies that I printed out.
These are hard copies?
Yeah, that Pat is talking about.
Okay. So,
On policy GEB, I don't know if it was just the way it came through, or not, there's a number of I's, the letter I that are missing a number of words. And I don't know if it was just me, but
It happened to me earlier in the day, and then it cleared itself up.
oh, I see what
But
you're
all of the
saying.
I's were missing, and the I's,
The I's.
all the I's.
Oh, they're all gone.
Yeah.
IT, yeah,
You got a little technology.
Wow.
yeah.
those are on the final copy.
Yes, they are on the final copy.
The eyes have it.
No, they don't.
The eyes don't have it.
Okay.
Thank you, Google. What's next?
Any more comments about these policies?
I'll let it leave it out, that one.
Does a good job.
Yes, you do.
All right, we need a motion to adopt all of them as presented.
Do you want me to list them all?
Sure.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that the board accept for adoption the following policies. GBCD, the background investigation, criminal records check and fingerprinting. GBCDR.
Can I call a timeout for a second or not? Am I allowed to?
Well, you already did.
No, I just wanted input because of the volunteering and It's very hard to get volunteers down at Lakeway as it is. And I think it's very important that you had informed the parents about the new policy, like at Connecticut.
They will be.
But it's too late to have them come in and discuss it before you make the policy.
It's a state law.
It's a
We have to
state
state
law.
law.
Yeah, they
No,
can't
it's
discuss.
not a state law
It's
change.
not the state law change.
And I
And next
discussed that
time when
with
we have
Crystal
a
Martin.
public input, that would be the time to do that, Heidi, rather than when we're.
I know, but I didn't know you guys were approving this tonight.
So,
It doesn't say to be approved.
Final reading.
No,
Final reading adoption.
Well, anyway, okay, that is done.
But it isn't, because you have,
No, I mean, you're going to
right,
write it, so not.
no, but you have how many kids in the district? And you have how many parents? And you're making a huge impact on being able to volunteer down there or here at the high school level or junior high. And no, not one parent has been informed about this before it's approved.
There's a huge disconnect someplace then, because everything we're being told through the state and through the attorneys and the people we work with is this must be. So,
There's a statute that they list, that's NHRSA 189.
yep, and we looked into that, and sorry.
Oh, you
No,
can.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Ah!
No, and I'm sorry, I thought Crystal Martin was going to be here tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me speak.
No, it's
But
okay.
the statute didn't change much in what you have to define as a
Designated.
designated,
Right.
and it doesn't define what you as a school board or an SAU define as a designated volunteer. That is still up to you as a school board to define what a designated volunteer is. And you can say those are people who have such and such access to children, or whatever you want. That's still up to you. And so if somebody goes into Lakeway Elementary School and wants to volunteer and make popcorn, you might not designate.
No, we wouldn't do that. We had that designation in policy, but it's not for making popcorn.
So unfortunately, I tried to look up the policies online, and I cannot find them online to know what they are. So I don't know what you're adopting tonight.
Let's delay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to delay it.
Let's delay it. Not a problem.
Just
Let's make
Well,
clear.
I think IJOC and IJOCR both have to be delayed.
Yeah, and I just think it's really important, if you're gonna have a big change, or if it's mandated by the state, you need to inform the parents. When it's very hard to, I know it's, I'm sorry, Patty, but it is true. I mean, we're blind. Nobody knows about this down at the school. None of the parents, I mean, I don't think.
First of all, IJOC has not really changed in language at all. It's the procedure IJOCR which has changed. Correct?
I have no idea, but the last meeting I was at, it was brought to my attention that if you wanted to volunteer or even go on a field trip with your child or a grandparent, they're going to have to pay for a background check. I don't know if, that needs to be informed to the parents so that they can come and voice their opinion at these meetings. You can just not go sign something like this and just put it into effect. Parents need to know this.
I think is the procedure itself that parents need to know, because basically the wording for the policy has not changed. It's how it's implemented.
Right, and how are you gonna implement it?
Well,
That's the
That
thing.
would be the one that I would delay, is the IJOCR.
Right, but the last meeting we were at, it was stated that these parents are gonna have to pay for a background check of $20 to $40 and be fingerprinted. We can hardly get parents to volunteer now, and that is going to stop immediately, I guarantee it. And it's very sad. My mother went on a field trip the last week of school. She's not going to pay for a background check to go to the flume when she has to pay to go to the flume in Canada, $50 and then another $40.
I understand what you're saying, so we
Okay.
should delay at least that part of the policy.
And you're going to put in a connect out about
We'll
this?
figure out how to do it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So we're going to finish the.
But you're right, and the IJOC has not changed, and that just says not much actually.
This describes what
Is
the
the
volunteer
R,
is.
yeah, what the volunteer does, but the R is what
Right.
is the pillar, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you all set with the motion or with it?
We're just not gonna do that.
Right, these are tabled. All right, so we've got the GBCD, R is what we got up to. And then the acceptance of, for adoption, policy GEB, which is exit interview policy for staff. JLCF, the district wellness policy. JLCF R2, which is the Littleton High School and Daisy Bronson Middle School wellness policy. And GBEF, the school district internet access policy for staff, which is the second reading and adoption. Do we need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
No, we're just not gonna.
Sorry,
Actually,
I-
mine.
The other one too is the JICLR, which is the computer technology acceptable use guidelines for students as opposed to staff.
I'm sorry.
There was a revision on GBEF also because it was never labeled.
It wasn't on the agenda.
Okay. GBEFR,
Neither appendix was labeled.
okay. So the motion is to accept all of the policies, I guess, except for IJLC and IJLCR, although IJLC has never changed.
Right.
The thing is with the computer technology acceptable use guidelines for employees, that was never labeled or coded. So that's GBEFR. And is that the only one that wasn't labeled?
The JLC.
JICLR.
And the JICLR was never coded. So that's now been changed for students, and that is the coding to follow the policy. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Superintendent's report.
Okay, it'll be very, very brief tonight. Got the sad news last night that one of my colleagues had passed away, Mike Morgan, who is the superintendent of schools at Exeter. Has been for some years, past 9 years or so. Before that, Barrington died. Mike was scheduled to work for one more year and retire. So next year would have been his last year. I guess my first memory of Mike was the first state school administrators or superintendent's meeting I went to. And of course I knew just a handful of people, Pierre and Mike and a few people from the North Country superintendents, but that was it. And Mike Kelly. But Mike Morgan was the one that came to me and welcomed me to New Hampshire and warmly extended his help if I needed it. And you know, he certainly was someone I think was highly regarded, very classy individual. And our condolences go to his family, his patrons, and those who worked so closely with him over the past several decades. Letter to the governor, I'm working on it, Google Doc, I'll share it with you the next day or two. I'm trying to maintain the balance of brevity versus enough information there, but that letter is in progress. And then finally, I just wanted to comment briefly on that we had a little assembly today, and I know we didn't work with the schedules of too many of you, but it was good to get everybody together across all the buildings and all the teachers and support staff and everybody together and take a little time and enjoy a nice breakfast. And then we did recognize the 4 individuals who are retiring and a number of other individuals who have met longevity benchmarks basically every 5 years. And so that was a nice event, and just want to acknowledge that and again congratulate those we recognize today. and I hope you all enjoyed it. If you'd like to see the superintendent sweat, then you probably enjoyed it a lot. It was pretty hot in there. I did have a suit on, but that aside, it was a very nice event, and thanks. And that's all I have.
Okay, next item on the agenda is non-public. I'd like to make a motion to go into non-public.
I'll make a motion to enter into non-public session under paragraph 2, section 3 of the RSA 91A:3 of the right to know law for the number 2, the hiring of any person as a public employee. Number 3, matters that would adversely affect the reputation of any person other than a member of the board. Taking with us the superintendent.
The assistant superintendent and clerk.
And Mr. Shelton.
And Mr. Joseph.